the Fill the Funnel podcast with Jeff Swan
and Tom Slocum.
We're here to help you crush your targets
with tactical tips and insights you can act on today.
Don't have a fancy tech stack, a big budget, or even a huge team to lean on?
Well, it's time to get that solved today with FTF Fridays.
Hey everyone, and welcome to Fill the Funnel Fridays with your hosts Jeff Swan and Tom Slocum. Got a really cool, kind of a little bit controversial post today. And we found out actually this week how controversial this post is, or this topic is. It's should you ask permission on a cold call? So the permission to speak. Now, this is a very common tactic for a lot of cold callers out there, some that are some of the best in the business. And what they do is they start off with something like, hey, Tom, can I get 27 seconds of your time, blah, 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 blah. The whole concept behind it is that you're supposed to get people's permission to kind of move on because of several reasons that we're going to get into in this episode. But the reason we're actually doing this is that Tom posted on, what was it, Sunday or Monday?
Sunday.
Okay, Tom posted on the weekend when everybody's enjoying their summer and somehow managed to spark a debate. And what we found was actually so far, the poll hasn't been released yet, so you're getting some inside knowledge here. But so far, we're at 50-50 split. So half the people say that you absolutely should ask permission, and half should say no, get right to it. And so for all these reasons that some we like, some we don't, Tom and I are going to actually have a conversation now about the pros and cons of asking permission. And we're going to come up with our own conclusions by the end of this and hope you have your own conclusion. So just as a preface, what everybody listening in here, I want you to go after this episode, to go to this post, put in your own ideas of what should happen. And if the poll's closed, leave stuff in the comments, but listen to this and leave your comment because we want to hear from you on this great debate. So, Tom, all that said, man, I've been talking forever. Sorry. But all that said, what would you say? Why do people, the pro now, why should you ask permission on a cold call?
What I learned from this poll, right? I just created this poll for some fun on Sunday. I had no idea it was going to, launch the way it did, right? 63,000 views, almost 2,000 votes and 200 plus comments. And it was great. And honestly, the reason you should be asking is it's just respect. And I understand that now, right? Is the poll so far has shown, and the commentary has been that it doesn't really play an impact on the success of your cold call. Right? Nobody could give me that definitive. Nobody said, oh, every call that I've asked permission does this. The ones I don't do this. But the preference was, I don't care what the success rate is if you use it or not. It's just called being respectful, right? You treat people with respect. You're calling them up out of the blue. Hey, Jeff, it's Tom over at Milestone. How have you been? Hey, can I speak to you for a few minutes? Do I have permission? If I tell you in the next 27 seconds, can we continue the call?
Right.
That's just respect, right? You call them up. I think you should be listening for cues when you're picking up the phone, right? I don't think it's used every time. Don't need it in your script all the time. But there are certain situations where you answer the phone, you can hear them in a car, you hear them boarding a plane or train, whatever they're doing. They've got the kids in the background. Obviously, sure. Hey, Jeff, it's Tom. Is now a good time? Do you have a few minutes? The one line to stay away from that I will say cold-heartedly that I will give advice today is, did I catch you at a bad time? Get it out of the equation, right?
Hold on. You didn't say, did I catch you at a good time? Did I catch you at a bad time?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why?
Well, it's always a bad time. A cold call is always the bad time, right? You're calling, it's expected, and it's just a bad poor choice of words. Now, some people in the comments, just what you referenced, did flip it the other way. Is now a good time, right? And psychologically, it's like, yeah, sure, now's a good time. Yeah, what's up, right? Yeah. So there is a choice word there. That's what I'm saying. Don't say, did I catch you at a bad time? Because it's always a bad time, man. Like, you're
so this is interesting. So I've been I'm not a cold calling superstar like you are, but I've talked with a lot of people who do really well in cold calling. And there's this debate around that particular topic. So this is like a mini debate within the debate we're having here. And the concept here is that when you get a cold call, when you're approached by a salesperson, whether it's on the phone, email, or in person, whatever, is our knee-jerk reaction is to put up the wall of defense.
Yeah.
And our knee-jerk reaction is to say no, right? So I'm programmed. You call me, I pick up the phone, and I say no. I'm programmed to say no. So when you ask me, Jeff, did I catch you at a bad time? My knee-jerk reaction is to say no. Next thing you know, fuck, you got me.
We're chatting,
That's why the proponents of doing it that way think it's the best thing in the world. So, but what you're telling us is that puts them in a negative headspace. Or actually, no, I guess you haven't really told me why. So why is the bad time a bad thing to say?
Well, I mean, because at the end of the day, it's always a bad time. There's never a good time for you to pick up a phone call. I mean, it's just, I don't know when to best call Jeff, my prospect, all day. I don't know if 10 to 11 is a good schedule for him. I don't know if 1 to 2, right? It's just a guessing game all day. Now, the data's out there that tells you there's some great windows where people pick up most frequently, but that's a general statement. It's not a specific human being time frame, right? Hey, right. All the data on this guy, Jeff Swan, his phone has always been answered for sure between 10 and 11 a.m. Now, if that stuff existed, I mean, man, you'd be leveling up and prospecting all day because you group all your people together and find your success. But every time's a bad time right now because you're taking a guess at it. You're picking up the phone. So again, going back to this whole topic here, that's why you just don't need to ask permission on a cold call. Just get right to it. In my honest opinion, I know it's respectful and I do, but in my brain, I got 5 to 30 seconds to speak with you when you answer that call. And that is valuable real estate. Every word and tonality and deliverability that I bring matters in order for us to get to the conversation we want to get to. So for me to waste 5 words on, hey, is now a good time? I don't know if that was 5, by the way. That might have been a little bit more. But
hey, it is now a good time. We got 6.
Well, you know what I mean? Like,
I'm counting on my fingers for those who aren't watching.
But, that's valuable real estate, right? In my opinion, you picked up the phone. That is permission. We are in a day and age in 2021 that straight up says you have enough technology in front of you now. My phone, I have T-Mobile as my service. If a spammer is calling me, it actually puts on my screen spam likely on caller ID, right? Right. Now, if I choose to answer that, I'm giving permission for that person to speak to me for a few seconds because I chose to pick it up. I'm curious. I want to hear it.
Yeah, like if the person isn't in my direct contacts list, it's not Tom, it's not my wife, it's not my dad, it's not like whatever. I'm giving permission because I'm answering a phone call from somebody I know is commercial related.
Correct.
Because there's no random people that contact me unless it's a wrong number, right?
Correct.
So like I'm kind of giving myself.
Back in the 90s, there was no caller ID, right? So every call had to be answered because you didn't know if it was going to be Sally, the neighbor, or Bob down the road, or your brother, your mother, right? Or you got hooked and it's a spammer, right? It's a cold caller. You didn't know back then, so you had to answer every call. Back then, absolutely ask is now a good time, or hey, can I tell you in the next 30 seconds while I'm calling? Yeah. Nowadays, man, you're making a conscious choice to pick up that phone. Just like the objection where you get all the time, hey, I'm busy right now, I'm in a meeting. Dude, really? Who answers the phone in a meeting? Please email me, LinkedIn me. Please tell me if you've ever picked up the call in a meeting because I don't care what level of seniority you are. Nobody's answering their phone in the middle of a meeting.
The only time I'm answering a phone in a meeting is if my wife calls me 3 times in a row and she knows I'm in a meeting. Yes. And I'm going, this is a really good reason why I'm getting a phone. Correct. And I'm like, hey, Tom, sorry, I'm on the phone. I got to talk to my wife. This must be important. And next thing you know, I got to go to the hospital and meet my kid or something.
Sure.
Like that's the time.
There's a purpose there, but you're not just answering a call, right? A random call. You're not sitting in the office as an individual contributor or an executive and just answering random calls to just tell somebody, hey, I'm busy. I'm in a meeting. So it's all of that, right? Just for me, I feel I'm being more respectful by not asking permission and getting right to the point because I'm valuing that you even gave me the permission to pick up in the first place. And I want to let you know who I am and while I'm calling. And then we can go from there. And you're either going to tell me to go screw myself or you're going to hang up the phone. But that's
Okay.
more respectful to me by valuing your time and getting to it than what the level of success would be in me being respectful by asking if I should proceed with the call with you and ask your permission.
Okay, so you're on that side of the great debate. You're on the no, get right to it.
Yeah.
I'm going to say I'm on the absolutely train, ask permission. So
Okay.
it's to be contrarian because, we play like that.
Yeah.
But I'm going to say that, and again, my specialty when it comes to outbound really comes from the digital, right? It comes from the emails, it comes from social and that kind of stuff. And the whole concept around reaching out to people through digital means is getting permission first. Even if it's not literally asking permission, it's more about like doing it in a way that's respectful, that gets them to ask you for for your sales pitch or whatever else, ask you for the meeting, that kind of stuff. So that's really where my mentality goes. So when I'm making that initial outreach, when I'm responding to a lead or anything like that, when I'm reaching out to that prospect for the first time, I always want to kind of set the stage and say, look, I know that you're in the middle of whatever you're doing, and I want to make sure you know that this call is not going to take a long time and you're going to get some value out of it. So I always like to say something like, hey, Tom, if you have just 60 seconds or 50 seconds or whatever else to chat, I'm going to tell you something that's going to be very valuable to you. And you can, if you don't like it, we can part ways as friends, no big deal. Right. And I just said a really, really long way of saying it, but I could say that in probably like 5 words.
Man, I don't know what it is. I can't be sold. I can't be sold on it. And I love it. I love that you're taking the other side because I am really curious, right? Like, I get it's a respect thing, but man, you want to be cold called like that, Jeff? Like, you want somebody to pick up the phone and be like, hey, Jeff, so-and-so, can I talk to you for 5 minutes?
I've heard some of the most creative and hilarious things from cold callers in my network that I would absolutely love to get these calls. Like, hey, Tom, I'm sorry to call you. I know you hate cold calls. And so I'm just going to keep this brief. You give me 30 seconds. I will make sure that you get something from this call. Okay. Hey, you know what? I bought your name off a list. I'm a sleazy salesperson, and I just want to show you why I took the time to talk to you today. And like, there's ways you can do this in a creative way that is fun.
So here's a third way that I do it. Okay, because here's a great way for blending the world together of being respectful of their time and getting to the point. In my opinion, and the way that I do it, and I talked to one of the persons that commented on my post about this because they asked my thoughts on their script, is that what about just thanking them for their time? Instead of asking permission, you just already assume it and thank them. Hey, Jeff, Tom, over at Outbound SOS. Hey, really appreciate you answering the call and taking the extra few minutes here. The reason that I'm calling is da-da-da-da-da.
I like that. You're being respectful. You're anticipating that they're already giving you the time, right? You're assuming it's called the assumptive close, right? Yeah. Or it's the assumptive close.
ABC's,
You've already given me the time.
Closing.
I'm thanking you in advance for your time today, and I'm assuming that you've already given it, whether you say yes or not. I don't even give you the chance to say yes or no.
I'm already thanking you for it.
I really like that. And so with that said, though, when you're looking at again, I think that, and we've had so many debates about this. We've said this so many times in our community, and like with the salespeople that we respect and everything, and we've said it that it really is about you. So you as a salesperson, you're better at just getting right to it. Me as a salesperson, I'm better at making it fun, addressing the elephant in the room, and just like getting permission. So like, we're just two different styles. It's not necessarily saying one is better than the other, but like for me, your way wouldn't work. I'd get tripped up. I'd get hung up on whatever. And in your way, you're like, no, I don't want to waste time with that. Let's just get to it. I book 7 meetings in a day. Screw this.
It's crazy, right? There's so many different ways to approach it. And I don't know, man. It's a great debate. It's fun. That's why I got 60,000 views and why we're sitting here having a debate about it. And I think thanking them is just a little bit more better in driving the conversation. You just don't need to ask.
No, 100%, man. Like, I'm going to point out just one comment here because I really liked what John Carey said. He's a general manager of a MedTech Global. So he said there are no set rules for such questions. People are not robots. We all have different personalities. I really like this. I love it because our answer to most questions is it depends. Right? So tell me about your debate with John on your conversation with John on there.
John, I mean, that was what he brought up, right? Is that there's no real, I'm pulling it up on my end here, right, to dive into it, but he's right. Some people got a little offended as to like, why are we even putting people in a box in the first place? What is this question, Tom? Like, and honestly, the options I even gave, they even, were like, hey, dude, you messed up and biffed on the framework of the questions. And I was like, shoot, I kind of did, right? They don't align with the poll. But John was right. Like, you don't have to put people in a box. And that's what we're trying to do here today. We just kind of wanted to summarize what we found in all of this and make, a seasoned vet, a regular, novice, SCR, just have an idea. Like, I love to go out and do the research, go put my name out there, go do what I got to do, and then bring back the findings to my peeps, right? That's the whole point of this. That's why I created this poll, Jeff, I kind of just wanted to educate people. I didn't do it for me. I have my viewpoint, but I wanted to have fun and be like, you know what? I have a lot of SDRs in my network. I work in sales leadership. This is always a fun debate that I get asked when I'm talking to people. Let's just see what people say. And then now there's this collective post that people can come to and relate to and dive into and be like, okay, what did they say? And then you can make an educated guess, what's going to work for you. And that's what I loved about how John, put it, is that at the end of the day, do your thing. Man, I am going through 200 comments right now, and I cannot there's a lot.
There's a lot. This is a great time to kind of wrap up the episode. But essentially, there are 2 sides to this debate, 3 sides to this debate. This is a multifaceted conversation. It's not something as simple as should you ask permission in a cold call. Our conclusion is it's really not just about hitting your number. It's not about all these things. It's about representing yourself. It's about representing your brand. It's about doing what's best for your prospect and what is best for that particular time. To your point earlier, you mentioned that read the room. What is their body language? What's going on in the background? Is there noise? All this stuff. Read it to dictate what you're going to do. And good cold callers or great cold callers are able to make that distinction in a split second.
Active listening. Right? It separates the 1%.
That's right. So essentially what it is, and it's just like we talk about this a lot, but I do believe you should ask permission. Tom doesn't believe you should ask permission. But at the same time, we both agree with each other because we're saying that if it works for you, do it. If it doesn't work for you, don't do it. And if it does work for you, it doesn't necessarily work every single time. So take like you said, active listening. Listen to what's going on in the world. Listen to what's going on in that prospect's environment and listen to their body language and adjust accordingly. Because if you get somebody who has that knee-jerk reaction, ask permission. If not, just bowl through, get right through it. So that's it for today. Thanks for listening and happy hunting. Bye. Thank you for joining us for another episode of Fill the Funnel podcast. If you like what you heard, be sure to hit subscribe on your favorite platform, give us reviews, and tell all your friends about us. Till next time, happy hunting.